Sycamore, Illinois, December 3, 1957. A light snow blanketed the ground, transforming the small town into a winter wonderland. Children, bundled in their warmest clothes, reveled in the season's first snowfall. Among them was 7-year-old Maria Ridulph, a bright and cheerful girl with a contagious laugh. She and her friend Kathy Sigmund Chapman were inseparable playmates, their laughter echoing through the crisp air as they enjoyed the simple joy of building a snowman. But their carefree afternoon would soon descend into a nightmare, forever etching Maria's name into the annals of unsolved mysteries. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the snow, Maria and Kathy played near their homes on the corner of Center Cross Street and Archie Place. A stranger approached, a young man with a friendly demeanor and a disarming smile. He introduced himself as Johnny and offered Maria a piggyback ride, a tempting proposition for a child eager for more fun. Trustingly, Maria accepted, unaware that this seemingly innocent encounter would be her last moments of freedom. Kathy, momentarily distracted, left Maria's side to retrieve her mittens from her nearby home. When she returned just moments later, both Maria and Johnny had vanished. The wintry silence was deafening, broken only by Kathy's growing fear. She ran home, her heart pounding, to tell her mother the terrifying news: Maria was gone. News of Maria's disappearance spread through Sycamore like wildfire, igniting a collective sense of panic and disbelief. How could a child simply vanish into thin air on a quiet residential street? Parents frantically checked on their own children, fear gripping their hearts. The idyllic small-town serenity was shattered, replaced by a chilling unease. Hundreds of volunteers, their faces etched with worry, joined the desperate search for Maria. They scoured backyards, combed through alleys, and searched along the banks of the nearby Kishwaukee River. Every passing hour chipped away at their hope, the silence from Maria deafening. The FBI, recognizing the gravity of the situation, joined the investigation, bringing their resources and expertise to bear on the baffling case. Days turned into weeks, the winter chill seemingly mirroring the growing despair in Sycamore. Missing posters with Maria's sweet face and a description of Johnny were plastered on every available surface: telephone poles, shop windows, even the dashboards of cars. The community, united in their grief and determination, refused to give up hope of finding Maria alive. As winter's icy grip began to loosen, a horrifying discovery extinguished any remaining flicker of hope. On April 26, 1958, nearly 4 agonizing months after Maria's disappearance, 2 hikers stumbled upon a heartbreaking sight in a remote wooded area near Galena, Illinois, over 100 miles from Sycamore. Partially concealed beneath a fallen tree lay the small, lifeless body of a child. Dental records confirmed the devastating truth. It was Maria. The news sent shockwaves through Sycamore, transforming the collective grief into a numbing sorrow. The joyful laughter of a 7-year-old girl was forever silenced, replaced by the haunting question: who could commit such a heinous act against an innocent child? The investigation shifted from a missing persons case to a homicide investigation. Every resource was poured into finding Maria's killer and bringing them to justice. Investigators meticulously combed through the crime scene, searching for any scrap of evidence that might lead them to the perpetrator. But the trail had gone cold, leaving behind a chilling mystery that would haunt Sycamore for decades to come. In the aftermath of Maria's murder, suspicion fell upon a young man named John Tessier, who lived just a few blocks from the Ridulph family. Tessier, a lanky teenager with a history of petty theft and a reputation for being something of a loner, had been questioned by police early in the investigation. He had even been considered as a possible suspect because of his age, his proximity to the Ridulph home, and his somewhat odd demeanor. However, Tessier vehemently denied any involvement in Maria's disappearance, claiming he was at home with his family at the time of the abduction. With no concrete evidence linking him to the crime, and with his parents corroborating his alibi, Tessier was cleared as a suspect. The investigation continued, but the trail seemed to have run cold. Years turned into decades and the case grew colder, the memory of Maria's tragic fate fading into the background of Sycamore's history. But the mystery of Maria Ridulph's murder never truly went away. The unanswered questions lingered, a constant reminder of the evil that had visited their peaceful town. And then, over 50 years later, a whisper from the past would breathe new life into the investigation, reopening old wounds and setting in motion a chain of events that would shock the community once again. As the years passed, the memory of Maria Ridulph's tragic fate remained etched in the collective memory of Sycamore. The case lay dormant, a cold case file gathering dust in the archives of the Sycamore Police Department. But for Maria's family and many in the community, the hope for justice, though faint, never truly died. In 2008, a stunning development breathed new life into the investigation. John Tessier, who had long ago changed his name to Jack McCullough and moved out of state, was once again thrust into the spotlight. McCullough's stepsister, Janet Tessier, contacted the Illinois State Police with a startling deathbed confession. She claimed that their mother, Eileen Tessier, had implicated McCullough in Maria's murder shortly before her death in 1993. Janet Tessier's revelation sent shockwaves through the community and reignited the investigation into Maria's murder. Armed with this new information, investigators began to re-examine the evidence, meticulously piecing together the events of that fateful December day in 1957. Could this new lead finally bring justice for Maria and closure for a community still haunted by her tragic end? Section 6. Conviction and Controversy, Justice or a Tragic Mistake. The renewed investigation into Maria Ridulph's murder culminated in a dramatic arrest. In 2011, Jack McCullough, now a retired police officer living in Washington state, was taken into custody and charged with the kidnapping and murder of Maria Ridulph. The news reverberated through Sycamore, a mixture of relief that an arrest had finally been made, and disbelief that the man now accused had once been a trusted member of their community. McCullough's trial, held in 2012, was a media sensation, captivating the nation and reopening old wounds in Sycamore. The prosecution's case hinged on a combination of circumstantial evidence and the testimony of a key eyewitness, Kathy Sigmund Chapman, Maria's childhood friend who had witnessed her abduction. Despite the passage of over 5 decades, Chapman confidently identified McCullough as the man who had taken Maria, breathing life into the prosecution's theory that McCullough was indeed Johnny, the mysterious stranger who had lured Maria away on that fateful December day. The jury, faced with the daunting task of deliberating a case shrouded in the mists of time, ultimately found McCullough guilty of kidnapping and murder. He was sentenced to life in prison, seemingly bringing a measure of closure to a case that had haunted Sycamore for generations. But was McCullough truly guilty, or was his conviction a tragic miscarriage of justice? The controversy surrounding the case was far from over. Section 7. The unraveling of a verdict, phone records, and a path to freedom. Despite the guilty verdict and life sentence handed down to Jack McCullough, doubts persisted about his involvement in Maria Ridulph's murder. McCullough himself maintained his innocence throughout the trial and subsequent appeals, claiming he was the victim of a flawed investigation and a rush to judgment. In a stunning turn of events, McCullough's claims of innocence gained significant traction when new evidence came to light. A review of the case by state's attorney Richard Schmack revealed a critical error in the prosecution's timeline. Phone records previously overlooked placed McCullough miles away from Sycamore at the time of Maria's disappearance, making it impossible for him to have committed the crime. The revelation of this exculpatory evidence sent shockwaves through the legal system and cast serious doubt on the integrity of McCullough's conviction. Schmack, convinced of McCullough's innocence, took the extraordinary step of joining the defense in their efforts to overturn the conviction. In 2016, after spending over 4 years behind bars for a crime he did not commit, Jack McCullough was exonerated and released from prison, finally a free man. Section 8. Justice delayed, justice denied, seeking answers in the aftermath. The exoneration of Jack McCullough marked a dramatic turn of events in the saga of Maria Ridulph's murder. While McCullough's release brought an end to his long ordeal, it also reopened old wounds for Maria's family and the Sycamore community, leaving them once again grappling with the agonizing reality that her killer remained at large. In the aftermath of McCullough's release, the investigation into Maria's murder returned to a familiar place, a cold case file, filled with unanswered questions and fading hopes. The Illinois State Police, acknowledging the errors made in the case, vowed to continue their pursuit of justice for Maria. But the passage of time and the complexities of the case presented formidable obstacles. The wrongful conviction of Jack McCullough served as a stark reminder of the fallibility of the justice system and the devastating impact that such mistakes can have on the lives of those involved. For McCullough, the ordeal resulted in years of wrongful imprisonment, the loss of his reputation, and the immeasurable toll on his personal life. For Maria's family, the emotional roller coaster of believing they had found justice, only to have it ripped away, compounded their pain and prolonged their search for answers. Section 9. Maria's legacy: a community remembers, vigilance endures. Despite the passage of time, the memory of Maria Ridulph endures, woven into the fabric of Sycamore's history. Her tragic story serves as a poignant reminder of the vulnerability of innocence and the enduring power of community. The image of her smiling face, forever frozen in time, continues to adorn murals and memorials throughout the town, a testament to the indelible mark she left on the hearts of those who knew her. Although the question of who killed Maria Ridulph remains a haunting mystery, her legacy extends far beyond the confines of that unsolved case. Her story has sparked important conversations about child safety, community vigilance, and the importance of never giving up hope, no matter how much time has passed. The case of Maria Ridulph stands as a stark reminder that vigilance and awareness are our greatest weapons against such tragedies. By sharing Maria's story, we honor her memory and keep the flame of hope alive, holding on to the belief that one day, justice will prevail, and Maria will finally rest in